The NFL draft is just a few days away, but all of the NFL draft news got pulled on halt for almost an entire day because it's being reported that the Falcons are shopping Julio Jones. The Falcons are sitting at 4 in the draft, and if they have a free shot at taking tight end or wide receiver Kyle Pitts, and they would have to get them if they let Julio go, right? Well, in today's video, we're going to cover why the Falcons are doing this and why Julio freaking Jones is going to be the catalyst for several teams to be instant contenders. So quickly, the Falcons are in a bit of cap trouble. This has been the theme of this offseason, people renegotiating contract, voidable years, moving money around to next season where the cap won't take another hit but actually rise huge. But Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are both on massive deals, and it's likely that they're going to move on from one of them, and Julio has way more of a market to be traded. So let's look at the teams that need to go out and get Julio Jones to be instant contenders. We can say, oh, wide receivers aren't quarterbacks, they can't make teams contenders. And to that, I want to point out the success of Kyler Murray in year 2 after getting a true number 1 who is almost comparable to Julio Jones. We saw how Josh Allen's game completely changed and their whole offense changed when they traded for Stephon Diggs. And we can see teams making the Super Bowls now with weapons on top of weapons. The Bucs had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, AB, and others. The Chiefs have their Olympic track team featuring Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So we can no longer say that it's not important. Still probably not as important as O-line, but it makes a quarterback job a whole lot easier and a lot more fun. So the first team we're going to be going over is the Indianapolis Colts. This team was so frustrating to watch last year. Although Phillip Rivers is a savvy veteran, he just isn't the same guy he once was. And I just wanted to see Andrew Luck on this team with a top defense, a top offensive line, a great running game, and great special teams. This is a Super Bowl recipe, and although I wish they would have gotten Stafford, Carson Wentz is a very capable quarterback who is perfectly set up to have another MVP season if he's ever going to have one again. This team has everything except that number 1 receiver. They have veteran T.Y. Hilton and a big body receiver in Michael Pittman, who had an okay year but definitely has a lot of potential. But what an absolute nightmare this team would be for any defense. T.Y. Hilton can line up opposite of Julio, but they've been playing and experimenting more in the slot, and this would be a matchup nightmare for these guys to be on the same side of the field. And now they have a highly skilled quarterback who can make all of the throws, especially outside the numbers, which they really lacked last year. But defenses can't throw extra bodies to try and combat this because the Colts and Jonathan Taylor will run up and down the field until you make the adjustment. I don't know what the asking price is for Julio, but if I was the Colts, I would throw a slew of picks for him because their championship window is right now and they cannot be passive, and they have very few holes to fill, so I think in the end they would be okay. And this is probably the most likely spot for the Colts because they have the highest cap space out of anyone on this list. It would be a seamless fit, even though I think some of these other teams could probably find a way to make it work. The next team I think that should target Julio Jones is the Green Bay Packers. For God knows what reason, the Packers continue to treat Aaron Rodgers like they're not sure if he's good at all. In Aaron Rodgers' long career, he's only thrown 4 touchdown passes to a first-round draft pick. Just 2 years ago, after giving up 1 trillion yards to the Niners in the NFC Championship game, Rodgers throwing to undrafted rookies outside of Davante Adams, they decided to trade up in the draft and draft a backup quarterback in their first round. Now they struggled this year to extend Rodgers' contract even though he's the reigning MVP. The Packers haven't treated Aaron Rodgers right at all, but I feel like them going out and getting Julio Jones would make him almost forget everything. When cooking last year, the Packers offense looked unstoppable. Aaron Jones did his thing all years long. Davante Adams has some of the best routes in NFL history and make a case for being the best receiver in the league. The Packers have a lot of picks to play with, and even though they are so not known for going out and doing anything crazy, this is a player they need to go after. This would scare the entire NFL and not only make the Packers contenders because they already are, but I believe this would make them the favorites in the NFC. And on this channel, I literally love to go over player analysis, and it kills me that we're not talking more about who Julio Jones is and what he can do, but I think we all pretty much know who he is and how good he is, and if not, you can watch the highlights, but we're going to focus on the teams today. The next 2 teams I'm going to combine together because these are also playoff teams that have a very good coach, a very good defense, and a very good running game. I would love the trades for these teams, but the first 2 teams we've went over have a pass-first offense and a quarterback that can sling it 50 times a game. But I'm going to go over the Titans and the Ravens, but especially the Ravens desperately need a number 1 receiver. They had the fewest pass attempted last year, but the best rushing game in the entire NFL. But I want to ask the question, was it because their run game wasn't so good? Was it because they didn't have the weapons, or was it because Lamar can't throw the ball all that well? I'm definitely not taking the latter on this, because we saw Lamar without a number one receiver rush for over 1,200 yards and lead the NFL in passing touchdowns with 36 just 2 years ago. He is an MVP caliber player and did it with almost anyone to throw to. They had very good tight ends in Hollywood Brown, but the position, the players just screams limitations, either in their route tree or just in ability. I would love to see the Ravens be ultra aggressive in pursuing Julio Jones. And the Titans, because they lost Corey Davis, who in my opinion they should have tried more to keep. I think he is one of the most underrated receivers in the entire game. They got a gem in AJ Brown, and he could use a lot of help though. And pairing Tannehill, who is a capable quarterback, with the most dominant running back in the game, with a solid defense and a great young receiver in AJ Brown, it would make me feel like they're just absolutely contenders and not just a playoff team anymore. And I feel like for this next team, I need to go run and get my Stafford jersey for this one. Not only do I think Stafford makes the Rams contenders because of their defense, the genius of Sean McVay, but because this is a huge upgrade at the quarterback position. And if they can find a package to deal the Falcons that they would take, the Rams are everything I wish my Lions would be when they had Stafford. Julio Jones is very Megatron-esque. We saw the magic that happened between these two with almost anyone else. This would absolutely be blockbuster, and if the Rams are already favorites in their division, they would definitely be now, and probably favored over the Bucs and the Packers in the NFC. And the last team I want to cover that I think would be contenders but is probably least likely to happen is the New England Patriots. Although they have the second most cap space on this list, they would probably need to address the quarterback situation first. And the speculation of them trading up into the top 10 would probably take a lot of the picks they would need to package for Julio. And Belichick loves his draft picks, and it would be insanely uncharacteristic for him to go out and do this. But the moral of the story is Julio Jones is just that good. He can make all these teams instant contenders because it just makes the offense so explosive. And I would love to see, I mean, he would make any team better, but these are specifically the teams that are already playoff teams and would be Super Bowl favorites. Let me know what you guys think. First, I need to mention anywhere but the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love what the Chiefs do, but he cannot go to the Chiefs. Make sure to leave a like if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment where you want to see Julio Jones at and where would the best fit for him be. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.